Evil teams are a staple of every Pokemon region, and in my Dutch-inspired region, the evil team is Team Compass. I made a video detailing this cruel company's antics, and in it I told you all about the 5 subsidiary companies of Team Compass. One of which is Team Umbra, the company that specializes in entertainment and Dark-type Pokemon. So today, I'll be designing the Dark-type leader and their Pokemon. The leader of the Dark-type branch is in charge of entertainment in the Hummusum region, and thus they need an entertaining Pokemon by their sides. In my region, there's a theme park called Fair Park, based on the Efteling, the Netherlands' most iconic theme park, as well as one of Europe's most popular theme parks in general. So I want an entertaining Pokemon that fits in an amusement park. My immediate idea was a naughty little jester guy. Here in Belgium and the Netherlands, we celebrate Carnaval. You likely know of Carnaval from Brazil and that one bird movie, but we Dutchies celebrate it quite differently. Think of it as Halloween, but 10 times sillier and 10 times more controversial. During Carnival, people play dress up and march on the streets in big, colorful parades. And a common character to dress up as is the Jester. So I took inspiration from that. I'm giving this little guy a nasty little face, kind of like a bulldog, to give them this gremlin vibe that I'm looking for. He is less of a fairy, fitting for Fair Park, and more so an imp. His body looks like a legless blob, but in actuality its legs are just very stubby and you can't see them. This will be important later. Color-wise, I made him black and white, like old Mickey Mouse cartoons. He's basically a stand-in for that guy, just as evil as well. I added some pink magenta accents to make him look more fairy-like, so he can fit in the fake fairy aesthetic. But in actuality, it will be a psychic type instead. Give a thunderous applause to Nahar! From Nahar, Dutch for Jester, and the sound of laughing. So when he says his name in the anime, he'd sound like Nahar! 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 Okay, that's good.
Nahar, the laughter Pokemon. A dark and psychic type. It pulls mischievous pranks on people in an attempt to get attention. It is very popular amongst children because of its impish and funny persona. Their pranks often get out of hand, causing them to get into trouble. Old children's stories about it have it meet a grim fate because of the mean pranks it pulls. It has the ability Prankster.
I imagine this goofy little gremlin's pink balls are detachable. That's what she said. And it likes to juggle with these balls in battle. That's what she said. I am aware that this guy isn't a fairy type, and that's completely intentional. It's supposed to trick you into believing it could be a fairy type. But just like the evil team, the entertainment they provide is just for selfish reasons. For Nahar, it's to get attention and steal berries. And for Team Umbra, it's for money. For its evolution, I had a very fun idea in mind. Have you ever seen Stiltwalkers? I know it sounds like a cryptid's name, but stilt walking has been around for thousands of years. Using stilts was an excellent way for early people to traverse swampy terrain such as in the Netherlands, and so it's not much of a surprise that the lowlands has had quite the history surrounding stilts. Stilts are a common sight in these silly carnival parades. People walking on stilts who look like they have really long legs are very cool looking. So, I have a secret to expose. Dutch people actually aren't the world's tallest people. They're actually the world's shortest people. They're all just walking on stilts. Don't tell anyone I said it, okay? Anywho, I kept the evolution's body almost the exact same. I just gave it these extremely long spindly legs, which it can extend even further if it needs to. The Belgian city of Namur, also known as Namen in Dutch, has had a 600-year-long history with something known as stilt fighting. Which is exactly what it sounds like. A bunch of weirdos on stilts trying to knock each other over. It's kind of funny, but also pretty cool. I recommend looking more into this old tradition because learning about it was quite a blast. But enough clowning around. It's time to learn about Nahahar, which has the same name as Nahar, but longer. It now also sounds like it's laughing more maniacally.
Nahahar, the laughter Pokemon. A dark and psychic type. With powerful kicks, it pushes around smaller Pokemon for its own amusement. It considers its bullying to be funny, but when it trips it won't be laughing. They can extend their legs up to 10 times their own body length. That way they can reach the juiciest berries. Sometimes their kind side shines through and it shares these berries with shorter Pokemon. It has the ability Prankster.
So this will be the ace of the Dark-type CEO, a charismatic carny clown character with cruel characteristics, which will be the perfect ace for a crude, cold and calculated compass CEO. I mean CEO. I had a fun idea for the Dark-type CEO. I wanted her to kind of resemble her Pokemon in a way. So I thought it would be pretty clever to give her those over-the-top high heels. You know the ones. These stupid ones. I have no clue why anyone would wear these. Seems like a bit of a safety hazard. But it's quite the perfect fashion choice for someone whose ace is this piece of poo. These high heels gave me a good idea for the CEO's personality as well. Dominant Chihuahua. You know, a short little girl who compensates by being extra aggressive and domineering. She'd wear these high heels in order to still be able to look down on you. Even if she still wouldn't be that tall. To further tie into her Pokemon and her role, I thought it would also be fun if I made her a goth clown girl. Ooh, the internet sure would have a field day with this one. And I personally think it's a fun character idea too. She gets these really big pigtails that mimic the horns of Nahahar, and her dark hair will get streaks of pink in it to add some rebellious color. Mixing a clown outfit with a business suit was actually quite fun. For example, I gave her a regular suit but with a really big bow tie. Her heels have this added thing that spiral around her legs. Again, referencing the stripes on Nahahar's pants. And obviously, I'm giving her a skirt, because that's like Clown Girl 101, right? Her face will be pale with makeup, but in actuality she's got a lightly toned skin. This is because she's Paldean, Spanish. In my region I have a theme of multiculturalism, so a lot of major characters like gym leaders and compass bosses will be from other places and even other regions. In the last gym leader video, I drew the flying type gym leader, Finke, who's actually from Kalos, though I hadn't mentioned that in the video. This compass CEO will be Paldean. It also works well with her Pokemon's origins, as Spanish kings were historically very obsessed with Jesters. That's why Meowscarada is a Paldean starter after all. Her colors will be similar to Nahahar, black and white, kind of gothic looking, with bright pink accents to bring forth her playful clown motif. This is the feared CEO of the Dark-type branch, Lola. Her name is Spanish in origin, just like she's, and it includes the word lol, which, funnily enough, is an actual Dutch word meaning fun. Yes, this was a word before LOL became a thing. She's an aggressive girl boss who, despite running a theme park based on fairies and clowns, has a distinct lack of humor. Though, despite being a cold-hearted CEO, she does genuinely care about the entertainment and well-being of children. Let's have a look at her wonderful team, shall we? She starts off with her first Pokemon, a Dark-type Cybot at level 18. This is a Pokemon I revealed in my Evil Team video. A tiny little robot Pokemon that changes type using a USB. Cybots will know the move Type Pulse, a brand new signature move for Cybot and Cybug, which changes types according to the user's type. Type Pulse does 60 damage and is a special attacking move. It also has an upgraded variant known as Type Blast, which instead does 85 damage. But only Cybug gets this move, so it's not important yet. Lola's Cybot will also know the move Sucker Punch, and a very gimmicky move, Conversion, which is a move that changes the user's type to that of the move at the top of its list, which for Lola's Cybot would be Charm, a fairy type debuffing move. This way Cybot can change to the fairy type and turn its type pulse from a dark type to a fairy type, which is quite a problem if you enter this battle with a fighting type. Its ability is Quark Drive, which doesn't really affect the battle, it's the only ability it really has. Lola's second Pokemon is a playful and colorful Impodim at level 18, with the move Bites to deal dark type damage. It also knows Flatter to confuse your Pokemon and Confide to remove the special attack raise if necessary. Both of these moves will get an increased priority because of the ability Prankster. The final move it knows is Assurance, which doubles attack after being hit first. And then her ace Pokemon will be Nahahar at level 20, with the move Sucker Punch to throw you off in a battle and Confusion to deal psychic type damage. And as a counter to fighting types as well. Then for some strong coverage it knows Bounce, to prevent those pesky bug types to annihilate it in battle. Just like Impodim, Nahahar has the ability Prankster, as that is its only ability I gave it. This move will grant it priority on Hypnosis, which it admittedly doesn't need because it's already a pretty fast Pokemon, but it's useful nonetheless. In the hard mode version of this fight, Cybot will know the move Mirror Move instead of Charm. Not only does it allow Lola to mimic your last move, it also changes Cybot and its type pulse into a flying type, which can counter both fighting and fairy types. Hey, isn't that fun? I accidentally managed to reference both the prior gym leaders in this battle. Whoops. Impodim stays mostly the same, though it's now holding black glasses to boost its dark type moves. And then Nahahar gets acrobatics instead of bounce. Since it's not holding any items, this move gets to do double damage. And it's also a more reliable move in general. It's not the biggest jump in difficulty compared to the other two roadblocks so far, but I feel the CEO already poses quite a formidable challenge in the regular routes. You would fight Lola in Fayfair Park, where she seems to be conducting some shady business. The park has been under construction for weeks already, and people have grown suspicious. So you go and investigate. You get on a roller coaster and you play a little minigame, where you get to take aim with a ball gun and shoot at targets. You have to get a high enough score to change the tracks of your roller coaster so you can proceed. If you fail, you get sent back to the start of that section and need to battle an evil team grunt. I really want Pokemon to improve their gym challenges, because I know there is a lot of potential for fun minigames in the Pokemon world. When you reach the end of the stomach-twisting coaster without hurling, you get to battle Lola. And if you somehow manage to defeat her, then you're rewarded with the Umbra stamp. Each evil team leader gives out a stamp upon defeating them, as a signature of their defeat. But she also gives you something else. Ever since the death of HMs, I've been celebrating, and Game Freak has replaced them with Ride Pokemon. One of my favorite things in recent generations is Ride Pokemon. Because I have a large open world, I'm gonna need a quick way for players to get around. A Ride Pokemon of my very own. So I'm going to be designing a Ride Pokemon to replace the bike. Very fitting too, because the Netherlands is the #1 bicycle capital in the world. You're probably aware of the Dutch stereotype of bicycle lovers. And all of it is true. The Netherlands is obsessed with their bicycles. And I mean the Netherlands especially, Because even just comparing Belgian bicycle roads to Dutch cycling roads, it's a big difference. I don't feel safe here. So I couldn't not make a Dutch region without a bicycle Pokemon, could I? I thought about a rideable animal that would make sense as a bicycle Pokemon, and my mind jumped to a horse. Somehow we've had rideable goats and deers and rhinoceros, but no actual horses meant for riding. And before you say anything, Mudsdale is a donkey, and you can't pay me to get on a Rapidash. So I'm gonna make a pony Pokemon. I took visual inspiration from My Little Pony as a reference to the series. I wanted this little guy to appeal to that market, you know? Just not too much. Besides a bicycle, I also took inspiration from knights, which translated into an iron armor shape for the saddle. I think that proportion and shape-wise, this is a very solid pony Pokemon that I'm very happy with. To get the chivalrous aesthetic across, I made it a white horse in shining armor with a beautiful blue mane, a common color for many heroic knights. How fare thee, Sir Poknight from Poknight, the first of thy name?
Poknight. The pony Pokemon. A steel type. Poknight are a historically popular form of transportation in the Humsum region. They're thought to have been the first Pokemon to be ridden by people. Poknight will form a close bond with the children who ride it. When its rider gets sick, so does it. But because of its loyal nature, it toughens up for them. It has the abilities Stamina, Horsepower, and the hidden ability Speed Boost.
The ability Horsepower raises its attack every turn it gets to move first. I want to draw attention to its shiny, as I think its simple swap from blue to red looks so good. It's a really clean shiny. Poknight is very cute, but I especially love the final evolution I made it. Let's have a look. For the evolution of Poknight, I wanted to get a really handsome stallion. We've already got Rapidash to be a more elegant feminine steed, so I thought a masculine counterpart would be quite appreciated. I also leaned into the racehorse inspiration more. The Dutch aren't just famous for casual cycling, but also competitive cycling. And in competitive cycling, no one is more famous and legendary than the Flemish Eddy Merckx. In his time, he won nearly every race he participated in, and set records which 60 years of improved equipment and bicycles still struggles to compete with. And to this day, he still ranks as the most successful cyclist yet. Poknight's evolution gets a more developed and sturdy armor all over its body, as well as a helmet which mimics that of a bicycle helmet. I also made its luscious locks even more beautiful and wild, which I think made it look really good. I'm very happy with the finished product, but this isn't the only form that Stalloping will have. Yep, I'm doing another Pokemon with multiple forms. What can I say? I just like giving Pokemon different forms. Especially when it works with the concept, because Stalloping gets a power form and a speed form, based on the sturdy mountain bikes and also light yet agile racing bicycles. The speed form will look very similar to the power form, but with a more streamlined overall design. Its armor will be folded out to make it more aerodynamic and fast looking. And those luscious locks I mentioned earlier are tied up in a single ponytail. Yeah, I'm making a joke, and I feel no remorse. I also really like this agile looking speed form just as much as the power form. It gives off a quick and nimble vibe while still looking sturdy and strong. Bow before thine majesty, Sir Stalloping from Stallion Galloping the 14th from Humison. Hail thine king, you plebs! And maybe also subscribe.
Stalloping. The stallion Pokemon. A steel type. For millennia, Stalloping have been man's most reliable partner. They help transport people and wage war. In the modern day, these Pokemon are only popular in the Humsum region. They're a more popular form of transportation than cars in the Humsum region. They're not only faster, but also stronger and cheaper, as well as more reliable in a pinch. It has the abilities Stamina, Horsepower, and the hidden ability Speed Boost.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think this might be my coolest Pokemon yet. I am super proud of Stalloping's design, both its power and speed form. It gets a different form depending on the item it holds upon evolution at level 35. If it's holding the speed hooves, you get the speed form. If it's holding the power hooves, you get the power form. So upon defeating Lola, you get access to your first rideable Pokemon, a speed form Stalloping. With every evil team leader you beat, you'll get access to a new rideable Pokemon. The speed form of Stalloping lets you run around at high speeds, as well as jump over low ledges or holes. I'm in love with the idea of riding around the Humsum region at high speeds on the back of such a handsome and mighty stallion, just like a knight on his steed. Now, with that behind us, let's add all these Pokemon to our decks, shall we? There we have it again. We're at the end of another video. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Have another wonderful day. I've been Garrett the Motham. Gotta catch me later.